Hey, doing everybody? I'm Tony Gaglione,
I'm Sean Adams.
and this is Smack Talk. Today we're doing day 19 of the World Cup. Let's get really excited about it. We're gonna get into the USA versus Belgium game in a little bit. First, the early game was Argentina versus Switzerland.
The sleeper.
The sleeper.
The put you to nap time. This game was 0-0, and it was probably the most boring game I've seen in a long time.
I do think it was very boring. However, I do think that there were some quality chances from both teams.
Yeah, there was quality chances, but
should
few
have
and
been
far
converted.
between. Yeah, few and far between though.
Yeah, Angel Di Maria had a couple.
Romero really didn't have to do nothing.
No, not really. Even though it says that Switzerland had 7 shots on target out of their 14 shots, 50% rating.
He only had 2 saves. Romero had 2 saves.
Yeah. Stats in the game. Let's go through this really quick. 29 shots for Argentina, 22 on target. 14 and 7, like I said before, for Switzerland. 28 fouls for Switzerland, 19 for Argentina. Corners were 13 to 5 in favor of Argentina.
Yeah, no big surprise there. Actually, Argentina did look dangerous when Di Maria started taking the corners versus when Lavezzi was taking the corners. Offside, neither team was offside much. Switzerland was offside once. Argentina wasn't offside because they didn't have to. They had 61% of possession of the game, more like 80% possession of the game.
Yeah.
To Switzerland's 39% or 20% in my opinion. There was 3 yellow cards for Argentina, 2 on Switzerland. One of those yellow cards, it should have been a 4th one, should have been on Messi late in the game against Barami. They kind of got into it. Messi definitely with a hard foul, picked up the ball, then pushed Barami off it after they had got a free kick called for Switzerland.
Yep.
Messi, however, in my opinion, did not show up for most of the game. In fact, he wasn't even existent in the game for most of the time. When he had the ball, he got rid of it. He didn't look very good, and I always said this was about Argentina. Lavezzi disappeared. He started early, he started great early, and then he completely dropped the match. Although he worked hard, he didn't really get the ball much later, and so he disappeared.
Yeah, so the game went in extra time at 0-0. In the 118th minute, excuse me, 118th minute, Lionel Messi came down the center of the pitch. Angel Di Maria was on the right side, so he passed it over to Di Maria, and Di Maria
one time to
top
back cross
shelved it.
goal. Yeah, back cross goal is little you can do when the goalie's moving one way. Goalie did take a step to the wrong direction, but that's because Di Maria was running that direction, and Di Maria immediately stopped and put it in with his left foot. That left foot is dangerous. It shows you the important goals that he scored this year, not only for Real Madrid, but now for his team. He's the only player to score for Argentina, finished 1-0 when Messi didn't. Yeah, Messi had an assist. It's not really hard to do when it's on a breakaway. When you get an assist like that, he didn't really pick much out in the game. Shaqiri was the only guy to test Romero, although there was, in the 121st minute,
the header off
the post. Switzerland could have tied the game. It literally was exactly like you want. Had the ball down with force. It hit the post. It bounced right back to the guy who hit it, but because of his force of heading it forward, it came off, hit his leg, and went right back out. It would have tied the game, would have saw us go to penalties. Argentina advances to the quarterfinals. And, we had Switzerland pulling an upset, and they had chances to upset them.
Tons of chances.
But
and they could have upset them. It shouldn't honestly, it shouldn't have been 1-0.
No.
Even in regulation, it probably should have been about 1-1. A lot of missed chances, missed opportunities for Switzerland, especially. Let's get into the game that we want to talk about. Unfortunately, we want to talk about this, and this is going to be a short segment because we're a little depressed right now.
Yeah.
Belgium beats the U.S. 2-1.
2-1. Same score line as 4 years ago against Ghana. I will say, however, we do lose. The one thing I do want to say, I have mad respect for Belgium. We had respect for Belgium. Tony picked them as a dark horse. Now in my opinion, their dark horseness starts now.
Yeah.
Because now they play Argentina in the quarterfinal. I will say the way they performed when they had the lead makes me feel a lot better about the result than when Ghana had a lead.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, because
they
Ghana
took the
was
lead
flopping.
93rd minute. Yeah,
Ghana was flopping around the field, fish out of water. You know what I'm saying? Belgium played with a lot of class. There was times where, especially when De Bruyne hit Jermaine Jones in the face with the ball.
He hit the ball. They stopped. He hit him up. He told the ref he was sorry. He told Jermaine Jones he stayed there until the medical. Yeah. And so not only that, when they took the lead, okay, the game was 0-0.
Going into extra time.
And we'll go into the first half action, but what happened was De Bruyne, okay, Lukaku came in and immediately changed the game. Okay, not that Origi didn't do well, because Origi did great in the game.
Especially in the first 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
He created a lot of chances on goal.
And he had a chance late, too. But when Lukaku came in, the strength, he basically bowled the ball off Matt Besler. It's the only mistake Matt Besler made in the game, Lukaku comes screaming down the side.
Unfortunately, it was the most costly mistake of the game.
Howard makes the save. It falls back to De Bruyne, and it looks like Gonzalez is going to poke the ball. He does, but De Bruyne stays on the ball, turns around Besler, which is hard to do because you think the ball is coming out because of the Gonzalez poke. Bruyne puts it back across goal.
Howard's in great position, too. Howard is in great position.
There
was a fraction of an inch that you can make that goal.
Yeah.
And basically, he bounced it off the back post and in.
Yeah, and then, so before that happens, before we go into extra time, okay, so Tim Howard had 12 saves in regulation. Okay. We're going to give you just these stats. Belgium in the total game had 39 shots. 17 of them were on target. So they were less than 50%, but 39 shots. 39 shots, it's like a hockey score. USA had 17 shots, only 5 on target. So both teams' accuracy was very low. But Howard did a great job in the first 90 minutes. Awesome job. You couldn't have said more. The defensive mistakes that were made, not even mistakes, but the opportunities that Belgium created, because it was more or less Belgium creating opportunities. In the 91st plus 1 minute, 90th plus 1 minute and 34 seconds, Wondolowski had a chance to end the game, and I think it just came too quick for him because it came off of his shin and off his foot. I think if it goes off the foot, it's the roof of net. Comes off the shin, it's a little bit higher.
However, I mean, he missed the shot, but they did raise the flag for offsides anyway.
Yeah, which it wasn't. We watched the replay. It was so badly not offside.
3 yards onside, but even if the ball would have went in, they still would have called it offside,
which would have been a total injustice. I will say this: once again, a USA player pulls over the hammy early, 32nd minute. Fabian Johnson, who me and Tony talked about going forward. Tony's worried about this. DeAndre Yedlin comes in, and immediately DeAndre Yedlin makes a pass. In the first half alone, he had 4 chances, 4 great crosses.
I'll never say a damn thing bad about this kid ever again.
And the thing is the reason why me and Tony, it's just so we know, me and Tony watched this kid play about 2 years ago for the Seattle Sounders.
First ever appearance for the Seattle Sounders.
For the Sounders, and he looked horrible. You could tell that he was a raw talent. You could tell that he had speed, but on the ball, his decision making.
He had no idea what he was doing.
He's completely young. But I watched him play for the Seattle Sounders, and I tracked what he did, and I knew he was a good player, as I told you in previous games.
He progressively got better.
He got better, and in this game, I think Tony became convinced because he consistently
without a doubt.
Now, late in extra time, all that going forward, it kind of put the defense on an island on a few counterattacks, although Howard made those saves.
Yeah.
But
so you got the De Bruyne goal, and then Lukaku on a
counterattack.
A counterattack breakaway, basically.
You can't do much about
Roof's won over Howard. There's nothing you can do about it. It's 2-0 at this point.
Yeah, and Belgium still plays with class. They're not going to the corner. Nope. They're not faking injuries.
Yep.
They're not. Fellaini was probably their biggest liability because he kept skying shots late.
Yeah.
And we're giving the U.S. the ball back.
So at this point, Julian Green comes in for
the
US
second half of extra time
for Alejandro
Bedoya.
Yeah. And there's another one that I'm like, really?
Yeah, and his first touch on the ball in the World Cup is a beautiful flick from Michael Bradley, and it's a one-touch volley.
Goes in for goal.
World-class finish.
Yep.
And this kid scores. It immediately, and we've got 10 minutes of the game left.
13.
13 at the time.
Plus stoppage time.
Which was a rip-off.
Yeah, I'll tell you that.
Immediately, the USA has Belgium on the back foot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's a chance by Jermaine Jones. That's a half chance. He tries the same shot he did against Portugal. There's a chance by Yedlin and a cross in that gets headed back by Julian Green to Jones.
Mm-hmm.
That he tries to just redirect it with the outside of the boot, and it just goes wide. And then what I will call the set piece of steel balls for eternity. Because
that's awesome.
Usually early in a game, you try tricky set pieces. Okay, Germany tried one, and Thomas Mueller fell. You had 5 guys around the ball, and they all just run around. Okay, so Bradley lines up on the ball, so does Jermaine Jones. Jermaine Jones runs over the ball. Bradley passes Geoff Cameron the ball. He one-touches it to Jermaine Jones, who one-touches it to Clint Dempsey. And Dempsey, literally, the ball from Jones is just we're talking like
a hair.
A hair too heavy. Because Dempsey tries to side foot chip it, and Couture, who's the best young goalie in the game, has already swallowed it. If he'd have toe flicked it up, if he'd have just lifted his foot up, the ball would have rolled over Couture. That would have tied the game. That would have. Tony said he was going to cry if they tied the game, which they had great, and they had the pressure the whole time, even to the last minute.
Yeah.
Which in extra time they call 1 minute of stoppage time.
Yeah,
which
and
it should have been at least
Klinsmann's
2.
freaking out.
Yeah,
It should have been 3.
Well, it should have been at least 2.
There was one faked injury. There was a goal.
The goal.
And then there was a substitution.
Injury. Yeah, and the Jermaine Jones
3 minutes.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, the refs didn't see it that way. U.S. ends up winning. I will say.
U.S. ends up losing.
Well, USA ends up losing. I'm sorry. Yedlin did great.
Yes.
Julian did great.
Yes.
Right. Howard with the greatest goalkeeping performance ever in a World Cup. And we're not just saying this because we're UA fans.
No.
He had 16 saves. That is the most since they started keeping track of them in 1960.
And I would have to say that even though they didn't keep track of them, it's probably the most in the history
because
of the
I'll tell
World
you
Cup.
this. I know the World Cup history. In the 50s, Hungary was a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Okay. In the 40s, we had the World Wars, so we didn't have 2 World Cups. In the 30s, it was all Uruguay. Okay, who won the first ever World Cup, and Brazil. Okay, so you look at those teams. Those teams like would put 6 past everybody. Okay, England was good. West Germany was good, and these teams would just dominate games. The Netherlands was good. Where West Germany was good, not Germany itself, but nobody made saves like that. 12 was the most in 66 by the Hungarian goalie. 12 was the most.
Yeah,
and that was in an extra time game. Now, this game goes extra time, and USA goes down 2-0. No team had ever scored 2 goals to come back since 1982, since Germany did it to France.
Germany.
West Germany against France. They tied the game and went to penalties and won the game on penalties. So I'm pretty sure if the USA had tied it, we would have won on penalties.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Because they took out Hazard.
Yeah, the momentum would have. Yeah, exactly. They took out their best penalty kicker.
And
number 1.
Mertens came out. Now,
Dries Mertens came out really early.
Morales.
He changed the game.
He changed the game early.
Without a doubt.
Because when he came in for Mertens, his pace on the ball, and I've always said Morales is fast. He has an ability to. You think he's going to flick it one way, but he flicks it inward, and because you're going that way, he just cuts inside of you and stays on the ball. He did that a few times to Besler. Beasley, however, played solid. Gonzalez with an injury played solid.
Gonzalez played awesome. Cameron played awesome, which is shocking to me because I didn't think he was very good at defense.
Would you say he's better center defensive mid than he is at defense?
Without a doubt.
For the U.S.
For the U.S., not for Stoke or anybody like that. Omar Gonzalez played great, like you said. DeMarcus Beasley played really rough in the first game. We didn't think he played well at all. But ever since then, like you said, he's played great. I think overall, the performance from the U.S. is just fantastic. And if you're a U.S. soccer fan, you got to be proud of what we did.
Yeah, I what I gotta say as a U.S. soccer fan, if you watch this game, after you watch this game, go back and watch the Ghana game 4 years ago, because you will see a team with class versus a team with no class.
Yep.
Okay, that's why I was so glad Suarez handballed that ball against Ghana. Because Ghana didn't deserve to beat us.
Yeah.
Belgium played better all game long.
Yeah.
The only time they weren't playing better was in the final 15 minutes of the game in extra time. Because then the U.S. had it.
I have one other thing to say, because we're going to do a little short segment here. But one more thing to say about this, and then I just want to get into some real quick stuff. And the next game's coming up. There is going to be 2 days off for Smack Talk here because there's no games the next 2 days. However, I did go on Facebook afterwards, and reading Facebook and seeing things on Facebook of people, I'm not going to name names, but you should be ashamed of yourselves. USA sucks. Howard sucks. The greatest performance by a goalie ever.
Yeah.
You should be ashamed of yourselves.
Those are bandwagoners, and I'll just say this. People that don't know soccer or don't watch the sport,
Awful.
They think just because we lost that our team is garbage. The fact is we played in the group of death. We made it out. We only gave up 6 goals in 4 games. And those goals, 1 against Germany, 1 against Ghana, 2 against Portugal, 2 against Belgium. 3 of those teams are world-class teams.
3 of those teams had legitimate chances to win the entire tournament.
Yeah, exactly. And so to limit up only 6 games and 4 goals, or 6 goals in 4 games, sorry.
And one of them had arguably the best player in the world.
Yeah, and who didn't score.
Yeah.
And we, the thing is You look at the way Algeria played Germany and the way we played Belgium. I'm glad we didn't win the group. Because I think Algeria would have been a tougher matchup for the USA. If you
look at the draw on each side, we were on the easier side.
Well,
without a doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you go that way, we'd have to play France next round.
Yeah, exactly.
Forget it.
Yeah. So what that brings us to is, one thing I want to say before we go to tomorrow's games. Yedlin, Julian Green, definite future of the United States.
Yeah.
Because in 4 years, Bradley's going to be old. Dempsey's going to be old. Jermaine Jones is going to be old. But these players will still be on the roster.
And guess what? You're going to have a striking tandem of Julian Green and Josie Altidore.
And Aaron Johansson.
Johansson will be there, but he'll be a sub.
Right. I'm just saying, we don't know about the development of these players.
No, we don't know.
I can tell you.
I think if Julian Green,
if you put Julian Green center attacking mid, Johansson and Altidore up front, you've got a great three.
That's dirty already. But if Julian Green comes up in Bayern Munich and starts playing world-class players every day,
he's
and plays on the first team,
he's our Lionel Messi.
He's already capped.
He's what?
He can't go anywhere else now.
He scored a goal. So even if he tried like a Diego Costa, because he scored, FIFA would turn him down.
Insane.
Because you have to change the record book.
Not only did he score a goal, he scored a goal in the World Cup.
Yeah,
he didn't score a goal in a friendly.
Probably the most important goal that we scored because it gave us hope where we had none.
Yeah.
I will say this. If he does come up and play world-class players, he's going to be what Freddie Adu never was.
Yeah, I mean...
Because he's a legitimate talent.
He's a legitimate talent. Freddie Adu was a talent, and then he just stuck there in the MLS for God knows how long at the Philadelphia Union.
Because the European teams that tried on him, he didn't have it. When Bayern Munich puts you on their reserve team as an 18-year-old kid, he's 19 now.
You obviously have some
talent because Bayern Munich wants you to come up into their team. Bayern Munich is the best German team on the planet.
They might be the best team on the planet, let alone Barcelona, Real Madrid, and a lot of EPL teams.
For those you gotta know, Bayern Munich played Real Madrid in the final.
Yeah.
So, so Friday we're gonna have 2 days off because there are no World Cup games. Friday, you have 2 great games. These are the quarterfinal games. These determine the first semifinal matchup. 9 a.m. You got France versus Germany. This is a European blockbuster. Everybody in Europe will be watching this game. The next game, you have Brazil versus Colombia, which is a South American blockbuster. Everybody in South America will be watching this game. It's the World Cup, so everybody's going to be watching these games. Mm-hmm. So let's start with France versus Germany. What is your prediction?
I think it's 3-2 France. I think Mueller scores a goal, but I think Benzema scores 2. Okay. I think it stays in regulation. I don't think we're going to see another extra time on that one, but 3-2 France.
I've got 2-1 France in extra time. I think it's 1-1. I think both teams score early in that game, and then they have missed chances, and then it goes in extra time, and I'm going to say that Loic Remy.
No, that's a hell of a pick.
Gets subbed in, scores.
That's going on a limb.
Scores the winner. The second game, which will be at 1 o'clock on Friday, 4th of July, so most of us, most non-soccer fans will be shooting fireworks and drinking beer.
I'm watching
chilling water. Brazil versus Colombia. I've got Colombia winning 3-2 in extra time. I've got both of these games going extra time. I got Colombia.
How are you going to pick against the Smack Talk bracket?
I just have Colombia. I think Colombia is going to.
Now the USA is out. Screw the bracket. Let's see Costa Rica beat the Netherlands. I got it 3-1 in favor of Brazil. I think Brazil hasn't showed what they got yet, and I think it goes 77 unbeaten games at home now.
Okay,
so
it's a big streak. So if the Smack Talk bracket's correct, we got France versus Brazil in a semifinal. If I'm correct, it's going to be France-Colombia. If Tony's correct, he's the same with the Smack Talk bracket.
Yeah, Smack Talk bracket, and then we both
Neither of us have Germany advancing. So.
No, we don't. And we also have France beating Brazil in the next round.
That's right.
Unfortunately, you guys had to bear witness to this USA loss, but I appreciate y'all watching. Day 19. I'm Tony Gaglione.
I'm Sean Adams.
Stay tuned for day 20, which will be Friday.
4th of July. Nice. USA had won. Tony wears his jersey, takes it off, and we score. Should have been taking that off earlier. 4 years.